Hello everybody and welcome to a weird type of video. We're here to talk about art today. That's right, you heard me correctly. We're going to speak about the art that I make, and that's all this video is. So if you don't give a fuck about that, go ahead and dip out now. But if you do, welcome. But also, before you guys who do not care leave, one thing I do want to mention, FNAF is coming very soon. It's coming a lot, and we need to shield ourselves because it's gross and never mind, dude. I'm gonna edit that out. FNAF is coming soon with a lot of cool stuff. Not the actual FNAF franchise, but me actually. I'm doing the Mimic game is what I'm trying to say. Jesus Christ, dude. So we're gonna play Secrets of the Mimic all the way through, all in one video. I don't know if we're gonna get the secret ending with all the shit yet. I don't know. But as of right now, I'm at like the end of the game. And I'm gonna edit all of that into one video and post it. But also, if you haven't been able to tell, we're trying to do a video every single day of Halloween, which is why we're doing this kind of like, you know, weird type of video here, and also just because I've been wanting to do something like this. And there's gonna be a lot of stuff like that where we're just experimenting right now. We're not really doing anything solidified, we're just fucking around. And I know we're playing itch.io games too, but that's to reach the quota, okay? That's to reach the quota. And don't get me wrong, I love itch.io games, they're really fun, but you know, sometimes they get a little stale and sometimes they feel very samey, and the ones that I've been finding so far seem to be pretty good right now, but we'll see what happens, you know? I wanna come up with something else to do for this spooky month. Actually, if you guys have any ideas for horror shorts to react to, let me know in the comments down below, because we got a little idea cooking in the brain there, and I don't know what to react to, but I would love to do kind of like a Spooky Scary Sunday adjacent type of video. But with all the update video shit out of the way, this is not the newest picture that I've drawn, but you guys recognize this picture probably. This is my profile picture for YouTube, and this was drawn by me. The background was not. The background was found online through a Twitter account called Liminal Spaces, I think is what they're called. Basically, all of my backgrounds are literally just Google images and random Twitter and shit like that. And I use it as the background for pictures because I don't think that's illegal, right? Probably, right? I don't know. But with that out of the way, I want to go on to probably like the oldest picture I have. This bad boy right here. Look at this. This is my very first attempt. This was me getting Photoshop, and I drew this for the first time after not drawing anything for like years. I used to draw a ton when I was a kid, and if I can find any of my old drawings, I will show you guys. I think I have a couple, maybe somewhere around, I don't know. But if I can find any of those drawings, I would love to do a video kind of talking about that, because some of them were kind of insane. I mean, like some of the cringiest shit you will see. I was drawing Slenderman and fucking salad fingers. I needed help. But the point is, this was the first attempt, and probably the very beginning of the concept for where the character that I'm using is at right now. And would you believe it? The character's name is Blizzard, because I'm uncreative as fuck, and I can't think of names. That name I didn't even make. That was a name that my sister gave me when I was like 4 years old, and that just stuck forever. But from that point on, I went on to draw this picture. What does this have to do with anything? Fucking nothing. I just really wanted to draw this picture one day. I was like, I love this concept, and I really want to have this drawn, because at the time I was watching a lot of Vanoss drawing like Homer Simpson and shit, and I wanted to kind of go into that, and I like Sonic, and I thought it would be really funny to have Sonic posted up with Homer, and they got like guns and sunglasses, because why not, you know? And I think, you know, everything considered, this is not a bad picture. Like, I drew this. This was my second drawing ever on Photoshop. And I'm like, I'm looking at it now and I'm like, you know what? It's not that bad, honestly. Moving on to the next picture that I drew, which was for Spooky Month. This was when I started doing a lot of concepts around the ARG that I did for a little bit and stuff like that. that I wanted to kind of incorporate into something bigger, and this is part of that. This is technically part of that universe. I'm not gonna get into that because honestly, at this point, it's warped so much into something completely different that that's just in its own video, you know? Like, it's not at all the same thing it was. But overall, I really like this picture. I love the way the silhouette came out. I want to do something like this again pretty soon. I think I will remaster this picture very soon, actually, for Halloween. That'll actually be, I'm gonna do that. That'll be cool. Wait. I forgot about this one. Technically, this is the very first picture I drew with Photoshop. I went in, I took like 5 minutes, and the whole concept for this picture is a child bringing their dad a drawing of a monster inside of their closet. And previously, the children's parents were gone missing or whatever the fuck to make this make sense. So, basically, this is supposed to be a children's drawing of a horror monster that is Homer Simpson. Don't even at me. I don't want to talk about it. But moving on, I got to the point in drawing where I was doing stuff like this. And I was like, you know, this art style is kind of neat. I don't mind this. I think it's all right. But drawing backgrounds is a pain in the ass. And then I started thinking about it more, and, you know, I love stuff like The Amazing World of Gumball. So I decided to pursue this art style. This is my very first attempt at the, you know, animated character in a normal people background. And I think it came out pretty shit, honestly. But at the time, not bad at all. I really like the anger swirl. I wish I brought it up a little further. I like it. It kind of does convey the feeling of like basically having a headache or something like that, but I wish that it was up further. It doesn't look great. But I do like the way that this was done. I don't mind it at all. But before we continue that art path, I forgot about this one too. This is another concept for a character that I had that was also part of that whole like Halloween type of aesthetic. And this is just honestly my very first depiction of them. I didn't know what I was really doing, but I did know what I wanted them to look like. I had the concept kind of down, kind of like a Bloodborne cloak with a Rousey scarf type of shit. You know what I mean? But they're like a little pumpkin boy. It's like Steven Universe, and and I'm uncreative as fuck. So their name is the Funny Guy, and I do love the idea of the funny guy actually being able to, you know, take out something like this. And I'd like the monster concept as well. The monster is really cool. You can't really tell from where the perspective is right here, but I love the idea of this monster. Basically, it's a mass of like bodies with like weapons stabbed into it, and it's crawling around the place, and it's like decayed bodies. It's like zombie looking type of people, and you can kind of see that on the left side here. And that's another reason I wanted to do this video. I have so many interesting monster concepts that are not original, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I think they're really cool, and I'm really happy with how they come out most of the time. So I want to kind of show that and give you guys a background look into shit that we've been doing for years. Because like this was 2020. This was not recent at all. And even still, I am pretty proud of certain things. I really like the moonlighting. I really like the fog going around like the arm and the back of the head and stuff. It's so cool. But moving on to attempt number 2. This was attempt number 2, and I feel like it wasn't bad. You know, I'm actually pretty happy with this one. The shadows are really nice. The lighting is really nice. I think the design of the character is coming together a lot more, but I love how stupid they look here. They literally look so delusional, and I love it. And then now I need to figure out which one was actually next. Because we're kind of jumping back and forth right now. We're not really doing this in order properly. Especially because this one is not in order at all. This was drawn after the funny guy picture. And this is actually technically the very first concept for Blizzard. This version didn't end up going anywhere because, you know, I already had a character with, like, the cloak and everything. And I was like, okay, I get it. And, you know, goggles are kind of cool, but I don't want that to be like the main thing on the character or whatever. But I do like this concept. A lot of people who I showed this picture to were kind of confused on what was happening, so I've had to explain it a lot, which is bad. That's proof that this is a bad picture. But basically, at this point in time, the concept for Blizzard was that they were a treasure hunter. So, you know, they're looking for treasure in the woods, and then, you know, they go to grab it, and it lifts them up with wind and dust because fuck you. And that was that. I'm trying to figure out which one was actually next. It was this one, wasn't it? Oh, it was this one. It was this one. Fucking lettuce. I love this picture. He's really lanky and not that great looking, but I love the idea of Blizzard just shopping at like a 7-Eleven, and out of everything they could get there, they're getting a fucking head of lettuce and a can of beans. It's so stupid, but I love it so much. It's such a dumb concept, but I do want to remaster this picture. I want to make it better. I think that would be actually really funny. I love that idea so much for no reason. But this was like the first kind of experiment with the shading like this, which is like the main thing I use now. And I think this is actually the next picture. This was kind of where I started to solidify the actual shape of Blizzard's character. This one was also, I know I say that and like their hands and feet are all big and shit, but that's because they're underwater, and I wanted to test underwater physics. I wanted to test kind of like clothing drifting upwards, and to do that, I thought about some Kingdom Hearts shit, you know, some falling backwards into the water type of shit. And the bubbles are really cool still. I really like the bubbles. I like the way they came out. I like the way they're done. I'm really happy with that. There's certain aspects about my older art where I'm like, I do still like that. But then, you know, there's other stuff where I'm like, oh, the shape is off and I could fix it and I could make it better and I could be better. And it's a whole cycle of beating yourself up. But the progression is there, and it is really cool. It is pretty neat to go back and see this type of stuff and see where I was at the time and where I was heading, you know. Because all of these concepts have changed so much. And then I did this one for the banner for the channel. At the time, we were playing all of these games. We were playing Dead Rising, we were playing Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, Friday Night Funkin' all the time, because we didn't do anything else. And we were also playing The Murder of Sonic, which was a pretty good game. And this is unrelated to anything, but the thumbnails for the Murder of Sonic playthrough, go look at them, please. Do me a favor. That's some of my best Photoshop work I've ever done. I fucking love those thumbnails so much. You have no clue. Go look at them. Do it. Do it. I also drew this because at the time, I wasn't telling people that I was like drawing furry stuff, you know? That wasn't a public thing. So this was what I did in the meantime, and I think it came out well, but I sucked at drawing mouths and I sucked at drawing eyeballs, so I just didn't. And that was my art style, but really it was a crutch because I didn't know how to do that shit. But I did like it though. I think it came out pretty well. I like the way the legs are shaped and the way the shading looks. I'm not mad at this one. I'm not mad at this one at all. I just realized, wait, holy shit, I just realized. There's one that I have never exported that is like technically next in the timeline. Let me find this shit. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Okay, it's not. Holy shit, it's not gone. Okay, we salvaged it. We found it. We salvaged it. Dope. There it is. Okay, this one is actually really good. I like this one a lot. So, the concept for this one was originally just Kingdom Hearts falling into darkness, but I kept using this as kind of like a way to express how I was feeling at the time. This has changed so many times. The background, the level of intensity, the colors, all of it has changed so much. And this final drawing, where it's at right now, this was at a point in time where I was very into someone, and it was getting to the point where I was kind of making progress with them, and we were, you know, starting to date and stuff like that, and it was becoming kind of a lot, and that's like not a bad thing, but it was kind of a lot of emotion. So this was the final product. And it's stupid, but I do still really like it. I do still really like it, honestly. It's not bad at all. And the green outline on the hair and the shape of the hair overall kind of fucks. The next drawing that I did, I don't necessarily have anymore, but I started messing around with the concept of Blizzard wearing a Hawaiian shirt. And that was where this came from. This was the second iteration of that, and I was super happy with this. For the longest time, this was like my favorite art piece. I love the lighting. I love the shapes on the shirt. They make me so happy because they look like it looks like little like pigs, and then these look like leaves or pigs. Like it could be anything. It could be anything. And your brain just kind of makes up ideas for the shapes and stuff. It's so cool. I love the way this one came out. I'm still really happy with this one. And you can see my shading over here bleeding into the background because I didn't know what I was doing. Not at all. That's why you can see, like, you know, there's one streak here, one here, and one here, because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, hey, yeah, fucking throw the shadows there. I don't know. And then shortly after that, I drew this picture. This one was directly tied to my ARG, which is now dead and gone, by the way. That's not a thing anymore. ARG went bye-bye, but we are doing something with that kind of concept. I still have that mask right there, actually. Hold on. Check this shit out. Yeah, there it is, yeah. Literally the exact same mask that is in that picture. And I'm so happy with that because this for a while was a big part of the ARG. It's literally just a mask from Spirit Halloween. I still kind of like it. It reminds me a lot of like Over the Garden Wall. And it's not bad. It's not bad at all. But, you know, as like a main villain for, you know, an ARG, kind of mid. A lot of that stuff, a lot of the reason that we're not doing the ARG anymore isn't even like lack of time or anything like that. Just a lot of the concepts I kind of realized were pretty cringy and kind of out there and hard to understand. So I dumbed it down a bit, and then me dumbing it down made it worse in every way, and then I was just like, okay, this is something I'm not happy with anymore. So that's why it's gone, but it will be back eventually. Eventually, don't at me. And then there's also this picture, which was an experiment around the idea of using the one weird pixel brush that kind of looks like chalk or whatever to draw the entire thing and to fill in the character and to color them and everything. And I think it came out all right. I do like the idea of it a lot, and I like the way that the effects came out a lot too. The lighting on the little flames, I love it. I love yokai and ghosts and stuff like that. And part of the whole concept of Blizzard is them being like a ghost hunter, like a yokai hunter, and doing stuff like that. Basically Scooby-Doo style, but if Scooby-Doo actually did something instead of just running like a bitch and catching old guys. But I do like this concept a lot because technically this isn't Blizzard. This is like a mimic that is looking like Blizzard and jumping around above the water while Blizzard looks at them. But, you know, you would never know that unless you had the context of, you know, this type of thing. Which is another reason I want to do this video. Because all this art doesn't make any fucking sense on its own. I'm drawing, like, concepts and stories and shit that I'm just making up for no reason. And no one ever gets to hear it. And I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, why? Why does no one get to hear this stuff? Maybe people will think it's actually cool. Maybe not, you know, maybe you guys are like, oh, this is stupid. But, like, why are you here then? Why are you still here, dude? Like, come on. And moving on, this was a drawing that I made for my girlfriend at the time. And it was one that I was very happy with. I like the two different colored scarves, basically implying that they lent each other their scarves. I love that. It's so cute. It's so stupid, but it's so awesome. And there's a lot of those. We'll get those out of the way super quick. Here's another one that was, for the longest time, my Discord profile picture. We got this one, which was another one that I made. This was kind of later on, but this was another one I made for them, which I'm not mad at this one. I like the concept a lot. And the concept is a foggy lake that is an entity, and the foggy lake entity will kind of show whatever emotion the people on the lake are feeling. So for example, if you went here and you were like pissed off at the world, you're throwing rocks in the river, you know, you're mad at people, then the sky's gonna turn red and it's gonna start like raining blood. Like it's gonna be bad stuff. But the concept of this image is, you know, they brought it, you know, he brought her to the lake because and it's cute. And that's basically all there is to it, honestly. That's just the end of that picture. And I'm trying to think of like, I'm trying to find the other ones that I did. This one I did shortly after that, and I was very unhappy with this one, and I don't know why, but I hated it, and I was like, oh, I don't even want to show people this, and I was so mad at this art piece. And I think it's just because like they're a little squish, you know, it's a little thin, and the proportions are almost not right. And I feel like I could have probably done a lot better, but it's not bad. I like the slippers. I like the flip-flops. I might bring those back someday. The yellow flip-flops. This is the one after. I think it was this one. This one was inspired after the Mortal Kombat fight scene where Liu Kang is fighting Sonya Blade on the beach, and I wanted to kind of give them a Mortal Kombat-esque outfit. And at the time, I was messing around with the concept of their eyes glowing, and I was like, I wonder what it would look like if instead of their eyes glowing, there was like some smoke coming off of it, or like an effect of some sort. So I settled on this, which kind of looks like fire, kind of doesn't, who cares? This concept is retired, beyond retired. And the enemy is literally just a shrouded figure that is supposed to look like a cylinder of smoke with like a person inside, but I didn't really care that much, and I didn't really try that much, so it came out kind of bad looking. Then I did this one, and this one I am still really happy with this one. This one just kind of had my girlfriend there, but at the end of the day, the concept of this is so cool, and I love the real guy just standing next to him for no reason. He's just there, and he's like, ah, shit. But the concept of this monster is basically Stranger Things Season 2, but instead of just being smoke and particles, it's like Kingdom Hearts Heartless that are like forming at the bottom and kind of rushing you down, and basically a fog monster that surrounds you with smoke and kind of like shapes of people and eyeballs that are swirling around and moving in circles and creating shapes. And I love the concept so much. I love the eyeballs shooting down the arm, implying that he's like spreading it out across the street and shit, and it's like pushing towards them. It's so cool. I love it. And this concept didn't go away. Actually, there's a sequel that we did later on. This one, it's a sequel, kind of. It's the same monster, it's the same concept. I wanted to touch on the darkness kind of like spreading out a lot more in this concept. So, you know, he's like getting hit with the eyeballs as they're like flying by and stuff. It's so cool. It's such a cool concept. And I love the idea of like the thing kind of getting mad and bending down to kind of like yell at them essentially because they're hiding in the light, and the light is kind of protecting them from the shadow. It's such a cool idea. It's such a cool idea. A lot of these concepts for monsters, I start thinking of them and then I'm like, oh, I actually really like that and I want to keep doing that because that's cool. Whoa, 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 hold on there. You're done watching this video. That's right. I hate to come in here, but this is about to be a part 2. Listen, I'm going to drop the act entirely. Listen, we got to cut this in half. This video is way too long. I recorded for way too long, and we got to get so many videos out this month, so bye! But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm going to go now. Stay tuned for part 2, the rest of the art. Bye!